Hi everyone, welcome to Appliance Advisors. I'm Francesco, joined as always by my co-host Dennis. Today we're going to talk about 30 versus 36-inch cooktops and really getting into the why we're comparing those. And I think most times if space wasn't an issue, I think most people would go with the 36. But that's not always the case. And sometimes you can't always fit what you want to put into your kitchen. So let's talk about the differences there and what some of those comparisons
are. Yeah, it's super relevant. I had a good friend this week, and in his case, it came to the 6 inches between, does he do a 36-inch refrigerator or a 42-inch refrigerator? Yeah. And does that 6 inches, again, come from that cooktop? That was his. Other people, it's the yin and yang of cabinets. You might want that spice drawer, that extra space in a cabinet. And again, do you need it? And many times people are coming from maybe a traditional 30-inch 4-burner cooktop, but they're doing their dream kitchen. And now they went to a store and they realize, oh, wow, there's a 36 and I can get a 5th burner, and then it's the whole, do I need it or not? So bringing that forward, I guess I'd say this. Sure, if all things are possible, the cost difference between a 30 and 36 is negligible. Yeah. You would pick a 36. And why? Normally, traditionally, when we go from 30 to 36, as a broad statement, you're going from 4 burners to 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some 6 even.
Sometimes 6, correct. And when do you ever need 5 burners? Monday through Friday, certainly not. And most times, a few holidays a year, I think we all can relate to. Maybe it's that, whether it's Thanksgiving or a particular holiday, and you have a bunch of people over, and you don't have 5 things on high, right? But it might be to keep that vegetable warm or a sauce warm or something like that. And sometimes it's just the space of the pan, to slide that thing over. It's kind of nice to have. So that's why you'd maybe do one. Moving that forward to say, if you can only do 30, there are still some options for you. Specifically on the gas side of things. There is one brand that has done a really, really good job. 2 brands, but it's really the same company. And that would be the BSH or Bosch Thermador company. They have a 30-inch 5-burner cooktop. They've managed with their design of their knobs and the layout of the controls and really using front to back space on the cooktop. It's just, it's been out there for years. There's nothing super new about it. But it's the dominant 30-inch 5-burner gas cooktop. You'd pick the brand based on maybe a style or other things you're doing in the kitchen. But you'd look at it and you would most of the times challenge us and say that there's no way that's 30 inches.
Absolutely.
It can't be.
Yeah.
So if you had to, that would be the one. And what do you think about electric when we get to electric or induction?
Yeah, and a lot of times with the, certainly I think what you gain in induction when you go to 36. So a lot of times on a 30-inch, most induction cooktops now have that. Yeah, 4, but a lot of times they'll still give you that bridge burner. So you kind of have those 2 burners on the sides, but you can kind of put them together, have a nice flexibility for that griddle or an odd-shaped pot or pan, something like that. When you get to 36, you're definitely going to get that kind of other side, way more spacing for sure, and you get that other side on the with the bridge burner as well. I think in induction, 36, you're definitely getting more power, more boost capabilities, more joining the elements together. So I think you probably there's probably less good options in a 30-inch induction as there is with a 30-inch gas for sure.
Now that said, so we're there, and you've looked at this a million different ways, and you have to go 30 inches. There's no reason to be depressed about your great new kitchen. There's some creative ways you can get around it if that's where you're at. Maybe it's just those few times a year. I mean, while you could get, while we don't sell them, they're certainly out there. You can get a singular plug-in induction cooktop.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it sits right on the counter. It's portable.
Yeah.
They're pretty reasonable now in many cases. And that could be a creative way to get your 5th burner for those few times you need it. And when it's not in use, you're putting it in a cabinet or in the garage somewhere or wherever you put it. The other way to think about it, and that's the way I've done it, because unfortunately I would love to have the 5th burner, but I have 4. But on those holidays, I do wish I had it. And maybe it's for me, it tends to be like, maybe it's a lobster pot or a big mashed potato pot or something. But I've made it a point that when I buy my gas grill, my outdoor gas grill, I buy that side burner.
Yeah.
Because on those few holidays, it could be Thanksgiving, I can assure you, out on my deck is a big pot probably boiling mashed potatoes. So there's a creative way. I mean, I know I do eat too much carbs. We're going to work on that's a whole other episode. But my point is still
Thanksgiving. You need the mashed
so you got to have the mashed potatoes. But my point is still that is another creative way to get it when you need it, because you might not need it all that often.
Yep. And listen, by sacrificing some of that other space, you probably got something else that you really loved in the kitchen anyway. So,
Correct.
All right, I think that's it for 30 versus 36-inch cooktops.
And don't forget to follow us on social media for appliance tips and updates from Yale Appliance.
Your feedback is what shapes our series. Like what you saw, give us a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. We love hearing from you.
Stay informed and inspired on all your appliance needs. This is Appliance Advisors signing off.